Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
This is Darth Matthew, host of the Star Wars Generations and Superhero Ethics podcast, and I find your lack of membership disturbing. You can free yourself from the ads of those rebel scum by going to theethicalpanda.com and clicking join for $5 a month, $55 a year. No more ads, only the episodes, just as the Emperor intended.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Star Wars Generations podcast. Today we're continuing our journey through the Clone Wars, going into Season 3, Episodes 12 through 14, the Nightsister arc. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Alex and Erin. How are we doing tonight?
Tired, but excited to talk about our girl, Asajj Ventress.
You know, I am dead tired as well. I was in the hospital all day. Not like hospitalized. Sorry, guys.
Crazy,
I'm a
Erin.
nursing student. I was at clinical. Sorry, I was working. But yeah, I'm pretty tired out. But these episodes always put a little, pep in my step. I just love everything that has to do with Dathomir.
Yeah.
Erin was in the hospital from talking about Avatar too much.
Yeah, these are great episodes. I'm really happy to talk about them. I'm really recommending you guys watch YouTube for these episodes. That way you can see the dirty looks that Alex and Erin give each other every now and then. And every now and then I have to threaten them to, I'll turn this podcast around if they don't start fighting in the back seat. But Alex, since you're so quick to talk, why don't you give us a quick summary? Actually, wait, no, that's never going to be quick. I'll do this myself.
I can give you a quick summary. Let me have a chance.
All right, Alex, I am setting a 60-second timer to summarize these three episodes.
I'm going to go.
3,
Okay.
2, 1, begin.
So the crux of this episode focuses on Asajj Ventress. Palpatine basically orders Dooku to eliminate her. He feels that Asajj Ventress is becoming too powerful. She is left basically for dead and goes back to Dathomir, where we find her origins with the Nightsisters and the Witches of Dathomir, who then help her regain some power. She gets some fellow Nightsisters to come along with her to try and murder Dooku, where they go pull up on him in his royal pajamas in his home on Sereno. They fail to kill him, but they plot for future efforts to destroy Dooku, and that is my summary.
Cool, because there's one more episode.
Well, I froze. Just do the last episode.
So after their attempt fails, they go back, and Mother Talzin now suggests that what they should do is plant a false bodyguard with Dooku. They
Did you forget?
go through a whole set of trials to create a guy named Savage Opress in a very subtle naming, whose brother was named Feral. He goes through all kinds of trials to prove himself. He's basically Darth Maul's brother, and he becomes very powerful the way Darth Maul is, and Asajj uses him to get him to turn on Dooku. The two of them almost defeat Dooku, but Dooku keeps beating them. And Savage realizes that Asajj has set him up, and he basically says F you to both of them and pieces off into the night, where Sister Talzin tells him to go find his brother out on the Outer Rim, Darth Maul.
That's Mother Talzin to you.
Oh, did I call her Sister Talzin? No, forgive me. It is Mother Talzin. She is mothering like Mother, and we'll talk a lot about her.
I've never seen anyone mother like that.
Sorry I had a stroke, y'all.
Let me just start, though, by asking, is this the first time in the Clone Wars that we get told that Darth Maul is still around? It's not, right? We've seen him already.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It
was
is?
an absolute
Okay, awesome.
It is the first time,
earth-shattering drop.
Yeah.
So these episodes reveal a lot. Let's start our conversation with Asajj Ventress, and there's one other episode in this season where the show really felt like it hadn't told us that she is evil McEvil and sexy McSexy. And so it gives us what I think is one of the quintessential moments of the Clone Wars that some people have good feelings about, some people have bad feelings about. Erin, you're giving me a knowing look. Do you know what moment I'm talking about?
Yes, it is the moment that she became such a femme fatale that they said she's too powerful. We need to take her down. She can't be this way anymore. She basically, they're attacking Kamino. She kills a clone sergeant or captain by pulling him with the Force onto her blade, and then she gives him a kiss.
Yeah, he's on her
Savage.
blade. She pulls him closer to kiss him as he's dying.
Mwah.
What do we think of that moment? Is that peak Star Wars? Is that peak, oh my God, cringe Star Wars? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Both?
I think that's peak. I loved it. I mean, here's the thing. Does it set women back? Low key, maybe. Was it really fun to watch? Yes, it's really fun to watch. And it's a damn kid's show at the end of the day. Like I think it's fun. I enjoy it. It's savage. It really watching that as a kid, I'm like, holy fucking shit, she's really evil.
Erin said, does it set women back? Maybe, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Look, as the saying goes, we support women's rights, we support women's wrongs. It is femme fatale to the moment, to the height. I'm sure that an awful lot of young people watching that had an awful lot of feelings they didn't figure out until they met a special kind of someone or were deep in therapy. Either bisexuality or a love for powerful women or whatever it might be. But yeah, it is a moment that I think is essential to understanding where they were going with Asajj Ventress in this. With that being established, let's talk about the Sith. What do we think we learn about the Sith through this whole dynamic of Palpatine realizing she's becoming powerful? I don't think he's worried about the femme fatale too much, but wanted to kill Roth.
I think it's pretty classic Sith. I mean, if your apprentice gets an apprentice and they start looking too good, you got to fucking do something about it or you're next. Like, that's literally what the Sith are trained to do. They literally gain their power by hating their master. Like, you think they're not going to try to kill you eventually? So to me, this storyline is just Palpatine being insecure. Because I'm sorry, but also he could take Dooku and Ventress if it really came down to it. But
to me, it was more Palpatine just further asserting his dominance and making sure that Dooku was still loyal to him. I don't think it was actively Palpatine being actually afraid. I don't think Palpatine fucking fears anyone. I think Palpatine he's I can kill anyone. He fears the concept of death, but I think that this is very much I don't know. This chick's getting too strong. I want you to prove to me that you're loyal. Eliminate her. Right. And also inflict, clearly Dooku was attached to her. Inflict more emotional damage on Dooku, make him submit even more, and he'll become even more Palpatine's servant.
Right. I think all that's true. To me, there's one other aspect here that you can tell me if I'm just reading this into it or you think it's there. Because certainly in other content we see about, Sith people, and this is mostly from Legends, but a little bit in some of the canon literature, often a master will encourage, their apprentice to take on another apprentice, in part because that apprentice is supposed to try and fuck over the main apprentice. And it's another way of testing, which one of you two is actually going to be my apprentice. For example, the way that Plagueis has no problem with Palpatine taking on Darth Maul. I was wondering if part of why Palpatine does this here is because now, instead of the normal dynamic of he's training his apprentice to eventually kill him, and maybe Dooku is the right one, or maybe Asajj is, he knows that both of these are placeholders. He's not looking for strong apprentices who might threaten him, because he already knows that Anakin is eventually, he's going to throw out all these people in place of Anakin. And so to some extent, he just doesn't even want to bother with Dooku taking on his own apprentice and training them, and that person maybe getting strong enough to challenge Dooku, or the two of them challenging. Does it feel like maybe this is happening because of Anakin in a way that it might not normally for the Sith?
I would just like to say quickly, I'm always made fun of for saying Padme's name wrong. It is Plagueis, Matthew.
Sorry, Plagueis, not Plagueis.
I'm just saying, I get roasted every time.
Okay. Look,
I've never said anything about it.
I thought you were going to catch me because I'd said Palpatine wrong, because I used to say Palpatine.
Oh, I didn't hear you say
Palpatine
wrong. I was too focused on my response to Plagueis.
I don't think you said it wrong. don't know. I feel like, yes, what you're saying, Matthew, about like Palpatine knows at the end of the day he has Anakin, so all of this is like a chess game. Like it doesn't really fucking matter. It's just kind of like, ooh, how far can I make Dooku go? Or like, ooh, I also think maybe there's like, what I thought you were going to say was that since Sidious trained Darth Maul to overtake Plagueis, there might be like a little like in the back of your mind, like, oh, well, she's Dathomirian too. Like, this is looking a little too familiar for me.
Yep.
But kind of like you both have already said, I think at the end of the day, Palpatine doesn't give a fuck. He's too fucking powerful, and it's just fun and games.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like Anakin is his like prized possession, future pupil that he wants, but like there's never a 100% guarantee. Like some freak accident can happen in the war, and Anakin could die. And I know Palpatine like doesn't expect that, but he always has contingency plans, and so he sees Dooku still as a good asset and influential figure to have under his tutelage. And so I feel like it just behooves him to like have maximum control over Dooku. And if Ventress was becoming too powerful, like for real, between Ventress and Dooku, that's a bigger threat to Anakin out in the field. Like trying to like make it so Anakin is not maybe in as much danger, his future apprentice will survive. Not that like again, we've necessarily seen Ventress best Anakin in battle. Maybe Palpatine's like, I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, actually, because part of what I was asking is I do feel like it hurts the Separatist cause to lose Ventress. Like this whole thing seems fairly stupid from that perspective. But then, of course, we know Sidious doesn't want the Separatists to win. He wants the war to continue. So, yeah, that actually makes sense as a further. It might be that he's like, no, actually, Dooku, like Ventress is becoming too much for the Jedi to deal with. I want to take this away. So this gets into now we call it the Nightsister arc. This is why I picked these 3 episodes. Let's talk about the Nightsisters, because this is probably my favorite. Like, through the Clone Wars, through Rebels, we get introduced to all these different groups outside of just the Jedi and the Sith, or the Empire and the Rebels, and the Nightsisters are probably my favorite. Talk about the Nightsisters. How do you guys feel about them?
They're the best. No, they're really cool because they introduced us for the first time on screen, to my knowledge, to this other aspect of the Force. They have some sort of magic. They have some sort of Force connection. Clearly, all Dathomiri do. Savage Opress in these episodes picks up how to use the Force in like an afternoon. So it's like there's clearly something about their lineage or the planet that has this like Force, dare I say, maybe a virgin's, who knows? But it's not the same Force that the Jedi or the Sith think that they know.
Right.
It's different. Which I think is just so cool, like bringing other aspects of spirituality, and how the whole galaxy talks about them like, there's nothing but like witches and mist, like, blah, blah, blah. But these witches can fuck you up bad. Like later on, I think it's later on, they make a voodoo doll of Dooku and fuck him up.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
It's so fun to watch. And Mother Talzin is the leader of, well, in these episodes, she's the leader of the Nightsisters. And there's something so cool about, I would love to cosplay her, but I don't even know where to start. Because all of her clothing just kind of flows off of her and like just kind of floats, which is so cool. And every time she speaks, there's this like demonic other repeating everything she says, just a little delayed.
Yeah.
And it's something that I didn't pick up the first time I watched through that, but now having like, I remember in the later episodes of the Clone Wars, it hitting me so hard. Like, oh my gosh, she sounds like a fucking demon. And it's crazy to go back and be like, oh no, it was always there. I was just too young to like clock it or recognize it. But there's just like this really something special about that type of intimidation and bringing in such a different feeling to Star Wars. I just love so much that they did this. And honestly, I was shocked this was so early in the seasons. I really thought this all happened in like season 5 or something.
Season 3 low-key is like when the show absolutely becomes banger material. Like not that season 1 and 2 are bad, but season 3 is like, holy,
it takes the fuck off.
What the hell, bro?
I think this season may have the least, until we get to season 7, the least like filler episodes. It feels like every episode is really doing something. And with this, the Mother Talzin design, she does a character design, is so well done. The actress is amazing. The voice they do, the way her outfit like has these 2 long like cloth spikes that come out of it at right angles to her body.
Shoulder pads. Yeah.
There's no way in the world they would hang up like that except through some kind of magic. And as you said, I love that it's exploring other things, because it reminds us like the Force is so much bigger than just the Jedi and the Sith. And I don't think it's coincidental, even though we're recording this after we recorded about Mortis, these episodes come directly before the Mortis arc. And so I think it's all part of broadening understanding of the Force. And one thing I hadn't even really thought about until you said that thing about expanding the idea of the dark side. You know, one of the things that I've thought about a lot, and we talked about some during the Acolyte, is that the dark side is supposed to be all about allowing us to feel our emotions, our passions. Yet no one seems to like each other in the dark side for the most part that we've seen. They all hate each other. And there should be some level of like getting to feel love, getting to feel passion, getting to feel connection. And that's what the Nightsisters are all about. Like, she's very evil, she's very twisted, but she deeply loves her children, her Nightsisters, and Asajj herself. When Asajj shows up, everyone else is like, who is this girl? Like, we don't know her, we want to kill her. And she feels compassion, she feels like care, and has a real sense of like, your enemies are our enemies. This guy Dooku betrayed you, we are going to now take him down for you. And the degree of just like sacrifice for each other and of community and family that they have is very emotional. And so it feels right for the dark side, but it's totally different than anything we've ever seen from the Sith.
So before this episode, I did a little Wikipedia research on Mother Talzin and discovered that in the comics, which is something I am woefully have not read enough of, but in the Darth Maul comics, it is revealed that Talzin's relationship with like the dark side goes back a little farther, in that like basically Sidious showed up to Dathomir and was like, we will trade, like, tell me some of your secrets of the dark side, I'll tell you some of my secrets of the dark side, and then I would take you on as my apprentice. Like, Talzin was supposed to be Sidious's right hand woman, and then he basically got all of her knowledge and then stole Maul from her, who apparently was her actual son.
Right.
And so she has always kind of wanted revenge on Sidious. And so I think she had like double, like, not only was it just this like communal, which absolutely is there, Matthew. It's like, you know, this idea of like, we're going to take care of each other. We're going to get revenge because you've wronged, you know, Ventress. But now she's like double time. Like, I'm also going to take your right-hand man from you, Sidious, like get back at him by killing Dooku. So I feel like it was like double time, high stakes for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting insight. Love that.
I love Wikipedia.
Yeah. One thing that going along with kind of what you've both said about loyalty, but especially you, Matthew, is it's the first time that we see someone outright refuse like Dooku. That isn't like, you know, the Jedi or like a Republic affiliated, like, because he's like, oh, all I need is your loyalty to the Separatists. And she was like, oh, never happening. My loyalty is to the Nightsisters, and that's all. And then when she goes and she drops off Savage for him, she says, "You're talking about
Talzin here."
Yes, Talzin.
Because they plant the idea, but he basically goes to Talzin and is like, "I need a new bodyguard. Help me get one."
Exactly. Yeah. So then Talzin, when she brings Savage, Dooku's like, you know, a lifetime of friendship, and she's like, "I hope I never fucking see you again."
Yeah.
And I just love that.
Which is also interesting that Dooku wasn't a little suspicious, because Talzin's the one that contacted him and was like,
I know.
Hey, like, I heard you lost your apprentice. How about a new one? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then she's like, here, never fucking talk to me again. That's like,
how you know it's a good show.
If this were aimed at an older audience, I might want a little bit more subtlety in the way the trap is set, because I'd be like, how does Dooku not see this coming? But yes, no, I agree that, you know, for this, it's fine. But it was not the most subtle of things.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And of course, before that, what we get is Asajj and the two other Nightsisters go and try to kill Dooku together. And here again, I just think the visual, like, I'm not a visual person, you guys know that. But the way that they, like, I think a lot of times we can get very into like kind of like the RPG mechanics of the Force. And I really like being reminded that the Force is this thing that no one really understands. They just put into language as best they can. And so, like, it is magic for the Nightsisters. I think it's the same thing. They just have a different metaphor to understand it. But like, she creates this potion through like chanting and mysticism. And then you see Asajj and the other Nightsisters step through the mist that this potion is giving off to become like pseudo-invisible shadow creatures. And everything about it was so visually well done that I got chills watching it.
It's so cool. And yeah, I loved the way that they portrayed kind of the shadows. And later when we see them fight Dooku, they even had a poison dart to lower his, senses.
Mm-hmm.
And they were invisible. And like just his connection to the Force is enough that he was able to target all three of them with Force lightning at the same time. And so it's so interesting that it's like, I just think it's funny because literally the next episode, Asajj is like, it's all about being able to fight what you can't see.
Yeah.
After she just lost when she was trying to fight someone who couldn't see her. So it's kind of interesting. I put that together just now. It's almost like she learned her lesson or something. When she goes and starts selecting the right Night Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to your point, Matthew, I think that like first of all, like we see later in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, like Palpatine perform rituals that like involve like potions and like magic stuff. So like it feels very much like it all is connected. It's all like the dark side just in different forms. We see Mother Talzin and later in the Clone Wars, doing different things, like different types of rituals. And I think like like you said, I think that's what makes the Force interesting. That's why I like the Nightsisters so much, honestly, is that like it is another exploration of the occult, of this weird, alternative view of the Force. And the fact that like, this is the first really true introduction to the Nightsisters, I feel like in Clone Wars, right? What we've seen.
Absolutely.
And I know we talked about Mortis on the last episode, but like this arc is the one that immediately precedes the Mortis arc. And so we just got like two absolutely wild interpretations of the Force and like expansions of the Force and like redefining canon in like 6 episodes back to back to back to back to back. Like, and it was so cool to me that they decided to explore these other sides and that George Lucas like really pushed to like expand our knowledge of it. And that's what makes me, I really love the Nightsisters and want to keep going back because I just want to keep knowing, like, how they use it. And, like, to outsiders, like Erin said, like, they're just witches. They're, like, macabre and weird and creepy, but they're, like, an ancient religious cult that, like, is really interesting and really close-knit and also kind of creepy. And then... go ahead, Erin.
I was just going to say, like, they're powerful as fuck because they made Savage look like he'd been on steroids for years.
Yep.
They beefed him the fuck up.
They give him the Captain America treatment, like going from that scrawny little guy to full on like built out.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you kind of said that, Alex, because I and it sounds like all of us, I watched this like streaming it, and I probably watched all of it in a night. When I was watching like 8 episodes a day or something like that, because I'm binging like crazy. I would really love, and listeners, if you were this person, let us know. I wonder what it was like to like watch one of these episodes and then wait a week. Like, what were the internet discussions? I don't think Twitter was out then, but like, what were the internet discussions going on? Alex, you were watching this week 2 weeks.
Tell us about your experience, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I remember when it came out. I was like, because this would have been what year? Like 2010.
Yeah,
I was 13.
Yeah.
So like, little Alex, who only knows what the Force from like the original 6 movies. I'm sorry, Matthew. The originals and the prequels. I don't want to lump them all into one.
no, it's okay. That's fine.
But those 6 movies, like, this was such a departure from that. And it's like, we had gotten like, some weird things going on in previous seasons. We'd seen the Geonosian like brain invaders and stuff, but this was like Force witches. And I was like, it was a little creepy, but it was also like, this is freaking cool. And like being a big fan of Darth Maul as a kid, like getting to see like where he came from and like the Night Brothers and Nightsisters, all of that just made me really excited to like keep watching this.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
It's kind of interesting because for me, I know that I was watching week to week up through mid season 2. And then I just didn't watch it for a while. I don't know if it just because I never had Cartoon Network, like my parents, we never had cable.
Right.
So I would watch it on the Cartoon Network website.
Oh
They
yeah.
have the episodes on there.
Oh,
Yeah. I'd rewatch those shits so many times before the next one came out. And I don't know what happened, whether life just got too busy or my mom caught me watching the Brain Invaders one and said, you shouldn't be watching that. That's really disturbing. And I said, no, Mom, please, it's Star Wars. And she said, So I didn't watch these episodes until I was significantly older, I think. Probably like 14, 15. Because when these first came out, that's season 3. I would have been like, you said 2010? I would have been 8. Like, I would have been pretty young for that kind of content.
Right. That makes sense.
So I get why my mom was like, the fuck? But also I'm like,
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's true. And like I said, fans write in because these episodes change so much of how we understand things. Among other things, we also get to learn more about the Jedi and their recruitment and things like that, because we learn more about Asajj Ventress's backstory, where in this version, like, and I will say that, like, there have been a number of versions of her backstory which mostly line up, not exactly. I am okay with that. I think it's okay to have a little bit of variance. But in this, we see like someone comes and like pays Mother Talzin to take her away. And Mother Talzin's very sad about this, but like that's what happens. And then he gets killed and she gets found by a Jedi, and the Jedi is raising her and helping her learn. And then the Jedi gets killed and she wants revenge on the people who killed him, and that's what leads her towards the dark side, and that's when Dooku finds her.
I'd also just like to say I didn't get to weigh in on when she put up with the Nightsisters and they were all freaking invisible. Just want to note that the greatest fit, in my opinion, in the history of Star Wars was introduced to us in this episode. Count Dooku in his royal pajamas. Like, first of all, homeboy sleeps like on his back, arms crossed like a freaking vampire in this
Fucking
massive
Dracula.
bed.
Yeah.
And then like the pajamas, in my opinion, they're so sleek, they're so iconic, but they are literally in a legendary skin that's included in or you have to earn in the Star Wars Battlefront video game, and I run that skin exclusively. And when I tell you the power I have felt for years as an adult, standing over an opponent I have beaten in Count Dooku's pajamas, just swinging my lightsaber around, is unmatched. Unmatched. That is, whoever decided, let's have Dooku fight in his freaking pajamas. Let's have Dooku fight 3 invisible witches in his pajamas. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if that was George or if that was
Dave
or one of the other production people. Well done. Well done.
They're officially titled the Exquisite Pajamas, and they're an epic drop.
Stop.
Okay,
Love
the fact that both of you guys say pajamas is pretty cute.
Pajamas?
Yeah.
Do you say
Nobody in
pajamas?
Minnesota says that. It's pajamas.
It's pajamas.
Pajamas.
East
You're
Coast.
from the East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, I also say water and root beer.
I also say water.
And the roof of a house.
Who doesn't
Yeah, a
say
roof, not a
water?
roof is what dogs say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely a roof.
Yeah,
say
I
that.
keep a lot of root beer in my house. And when people ask for root beer, I'm like, I don't have
I
that.
hear root and roof and root, and I'm like, bro, that's not a word.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the episodes.
Sorry, Midwestern listeners.
If I may change topics, is there anything anyone was excited to say?
I'm
No,
excited to
just
hear.
slay.
Okay,
Exquisite
cool.
pajamas.
So, yeah, exactly. Slay in the pajamas. Love it. One thing I really loved about the first episode, I think it's just called Nightsisters, is it's a very unique concept for a Clone Wars episode, because after the first opening scene, the opening scene, we see Anakin and Obi-Wan and some clones. They're, pew, 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 space battle.
Mhm.
And then we see Ventress's point of view and we see Dooku's point of view. But after about the first 5 to 7 minutes of the episode, it is only Ventress's point of view. And I thought that was like pretty unique.
Yeah.
And it gave us a really interesting just through storyline. Because at some point I'm like, damn, like so much intense shit is happening. Like when do we get the like flash to the other characters, like the lighthearted characters? And I was like, no, like they're telling a really important story. And it's just her point of view that matters right now. And so I just had noted that as something cool that I haven't noticed in the series other than in this episode.
No, I think you're right. I think even in the second episode, So we have in this 3-episode arc, we have Obi-Wan and Anakin at the beginning battle where Ventress gets into trouble and Dooku kind of uses that excuse to be like, "You failed me, mwahaha," which again is dumb. Just like try to kill her, and that way if you fail, she doesn't know you tried. But anyway, and after that, I don't think we ever see the Jedi until like there's a brief discussion about how this Savage Opress guy is killing people, and there was this massacre. And then we see them appear at the end of the episode. That's it. The entire second and third episodes are still mostly from Asajj's perspective. And you're right. I don't think we've gotten that until now. And it's fantastic. We've gotten Jedi and we've gotten clones. And we've even got like a droid episode. But everything has been from the perspective of the quote unquote good guys.
The droid episode.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
I agree. Erin, I was just gonna say that like I love, and I was just gonna bring up the fact that like I want to talk about like the absolute devastation that she feels at the start of these 3 episodes. Like she looked like her entire world just comes crashing down around her, and it's like before she lashes out with anger and rage, and it like you could tell that she is just devastated to be abandoned again. Like in her mind, this is like the 4th time basically that she's been abandoned.
Yeah. No, the level of anger that she feels makes total sense because of that, because think about it, like the 2 of the times she got abandoned, it was not their fault necessarily. They got killed and she had all this rage against them. The first time she got sold, but she's probably too young to have remembered that. Here it's literally the guy, not only is he betraying her, but he's telling her it's her fault, that she wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's just like, you're no longer my apprentice. Like, what was his reason? It's just like, you failed me for the last time, child. You're no longer my apprentice. Done.
Right.
Like, out of nowhere.
I mean, like, rejection sucks. And then rejection with no, like, closure or discussion is the worst.
Yeah.
And then just explode that to it's her whole life and somebody tried to kill her. It's a lot of big feelings.
Yeah. It's therapy. Therapy would have helped.
Therapy.
But sometimes you do retail therapy, sometimes you do murder therapy.
Yeah, same difference,
And she does some murdering. Let's talk about the murdering she does. When she and the 2 Nightsisters fail, it's time to recruit someone from the other side of Dathomir. So we learn that all the males live on the other side of Dathomir, and they're basically a separate tribe. I have a lot of questions about the reproductive life cycles of people on Dathomir, but that's a whole other question. We don't have to assume male-female reproduction as our own human species has. It might be different there. But either way, we find out that there's this whole group of the Zabraks, which is the same race that Darth Maul is, who live there, and they seem to be training warriors. And Asajj goes and tests them with the idea that the winner is going to be this new bodyguard, and everyone else is going to die. Mm-hmm. What do we think of the tests?
The opening sequence is like when she first walks up to all the men, she's like looking at them and like grabbing their face and like looking in their mouths. I'm like, this feels bad. This feels like something really not good. So I didn't love that. But it's so interesting. And I loved how once they got into the actual fighting, she's doing these physical tests for them. She's literally half their size. She is the size of a, like, fucking chopstick compared to them. And she beats their fucking ass every time. She's just quicker. She's just smarter. Like, you don't have to be bigger.
Yeah.
Also trained in the dark side by a Sith Lord.
That certainly helps, yes. But honestly, in these episodes, as much as I love Ventress, I was kind of rooting against her. Like, when it comes to Savage, when we first see him, he goes to line up with his brother Farrell and is like, Farrell, just don't fucking stand out. Just don't get noticed, okay?
Right.
And he's like, trust, I'm great at that. Well, they both get noticed. And then Ventress decides to test them. The final test, is fighting someone you can't see. And she has this, I don't know, like axe on a chain. I don't know what that weapon is called.
A scythe, I think, maybe.
A scythe.
Like, scythe is on a stick, so yeah, I'm not sure.
It's like a scythe blade, though. Yeah. And she's killing them. And then, Savage kind of beats her down and is like, oh, like, you hurt him over my dead body. And she's like, fucking pathetic. And so it's become very clear that Farrell is a soft spot for Savage, which I was like, aw, this is so nice. I love this brotherhood. And then they take him back to the Nightsisters and they do some voodoo on him and he gets swole as fuck and turns into basically a mindless monster.
Yep.
And then Farrell makes his reappearance and I go, oh fuck, no, please no.
Run, Farrell, run.
No.
That was good, Matthew.
Yeah,
so motherfucker got choked out by his brother Savage as Savage's final test. Yeah.
I love the way you framed that in terms of like, we sort of feel like we're supposed to be rooting for Asajj. And because what I love what they do is often in stories, one of the bad guys gets betrayed by the other bad guy. And so this leads to their hero turn, that they are now, maybe they're doing it for vengeance, but they're going to sort of see the errors of their ways. And in this case, Asajj was basically treated like a disposable slave warrior and who gets thrown aside. She realizes that that's what she was. She hates it. And what does she do? She gets a slave warrior of her own who she can treat just that way. And like, you're kind of like, oh, on the one hand, like it'd be awesome if she had a hero turn, but this actually makes much more sense. She's not decided there's something wrong with the dark side. She just doesn't want to get screwed over. And so she's going to screw over other people. And like, I really appreciate that, especially in a quote unquote kids show, that they committed to that so hard. And we're like, she is the point of view character. We are having you root for her. And guess what? She's evil as shit, just like anybody else.
The maniacal laughter was out of control.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
It was.
And literally, that's the subtitle. Maniacal laughter.
Yes, that is the subtitle. Ventress laughing maniacally.
Yeah.
Matthew, I can't get over Run, Farrell, Run. That was incredible. That was so fucking funny.
That was good.
But yeah, I agree that like it feels like you should be rooting for Ventress because she was just cast aside so much, but she just seems to delve deeper, and it's like, but I think that's part of it. It's this ambiguity of like that makes Star Wars so interesting all the time. It's these characters are not one dimensional. Stories and one dimensional. You're supposed to feel for her, but like she's a fan favorite, but you're like rooting against her in this moment, but you're also like rooting for her in the long term, but you're also like, is she justified here? Yes, but she's going too far. I don't know. Maybe. Then she has Savage go Farrell, and you're like, fuck her. What the hell?
Yeah.
But then later she fails again anyway, and you're like, oh, Ventress. Like it's just like this like whirlwind of like, hey,
little whiplash.
Hey, aww. Like and it's just back and forth. And honestly, to me, what's so interesting about Ventress's character is that she, not to say that she didn't do many bad things, but she's an example of like she was abandoned and kicked around and all of these horrible things and sunk basically as low as possible, and she was eventually able to like come out of it and like basically like low-key, she didn't become a Jedi again, but like kind of join more of the light side, like walk more on the light side and walk more in the middle, at least more gray, I guess, over a long period of her life. And obviously there's been a change with the most recent TV that came out that we talked about. What's it called? Tales of the Sith.
Tales of the Underworld.
Of the Underworld. Thank you. And Bad Batch. But like previously, like she died like this very much kind of like warrior death, hero death. And to me, in a book, yes. But to me, like this episode is like low-key her hitting rock bottom.
And if you want to hear more about what she's going through the book we're referencing, Dark Disciple, I think one of the best Star Wars books ever written, definitely top 10. We did an episode about it. Check it out. It's phenomenal.
It is indeed. But yeah, I was going to say, Matt, the last thing I was going to say was just that this to me was her rock bottom. Like she tried everything. She was abandoned. She tried to get revenge. Everything failed. And we see in future episodes from here moving forward, her on this like self-discovery journey, trying to figure out who she is, what her role is. And this to me, like Ventress always fun and like, femme fatale, hot, awesome. But like to me, her character becomes so much deeper and so much better moving forward from this arc.
Well, especially because, like I said, it seems she has no problem taking on Savage as a slave warrior, just like she was for Dooku, until he figures that out. and we don't see any of her reaction yet, but I think it kind of feeds on what you're saying, because talk about feeling weird about rooting for Asajj. We feel so for Asajj. We feel so bad for now rooting for Savage. I hadn't really realized those rhyme. Mr. Opress, Darth Opress, whatever you want to call him. He's not a Darth, you know what I mean? He's so tortured. We feel so bad for him. And then he just slaughters clones and kills 2 Jedi in pretty brutal ways. But
a child, mind you.
Yeah, a Padawan and an apprentice and a master. And we're still like, oh, but you had to kill your brother. Poor homicidal maniac.
He's just misunderstood.
He's just a poor little meow meow, whatever the word is. It's a term for like villains who we want to forgive because they're so hot. Not that Savage is hot, but it's a term for like, we'll overlook his war crimes because he's cuddly.
Get it? Savage can get it.
Yeah, it's the big muscles. It's he's got a good.
I'm concerned.
Those horns can do things. But anyway,
Christ.
And then so his moment at the end when he realizes he's being fucked with by both of them, and that he's just a tool because basically he thought he was working for Dooku, and then she pushes the magic button on his forehead and kind of unscrambles him, but back to just another kind of being scrambled. And when he is like choking out both of them and finding his own freedom, I'm totally rooting for him, even though he has been the one who killed a Padawan not long ago.
He also snapped the neck. They just shoehorned in the king of Toydaria being murdered, just real quick, and then he Loki wrecks Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, he
does. Those two are very powerful together. They defeated Dooku together. I mean, basically Anakin defeated Dooku, but he world starred them and then pushed their ship off a cliff.
Well, and I think also the fact that he was not able to, even with Asajj, help take on Dooku. But then once he I think that part of the idea is that his power was limited while he was still brainwashed. Because once he breaks free of that, now he's able to raffle stomp both Dooku and Asajj.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, I think, now supposed to be more powerful than he's ever been.
Yeah, I will say regarding Savage, I truly think he is possibly one of the saddest stories in Star Wars, if not the saddest, one of the most tortured souls. It's just so tragic what he goes through. If we're going to talk about something interesting that I feel you kind of said, fuck, I'm having a stroke. Okay. Asajj was kind of a slave warrior for Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes and does the same to Savage, but she has this realization of no, I'm more than that. I'm better than that. And I feel she grows through it. Whereas I feel Savage, here's what I was the words. Okay. Ventress at her soul is a survivor. And we just see that throughout the show is she goes from being an assassin to a Nightsister to a bounty hunter. And at the end of the day, she's a survivor.
Yeah.
She will do whatever she has to do and she's going to figure it out no matter how much it hurts. And that's something I admire about her character so much. And her ability to be yes, I'm worth more than that. Yes, I'm going to pursue something different. And we'll see, I think it's just next season, Savage, has this breakthrough and he's oh my God, I've been betrayed. And he goes to Mother Talzin and he's Talzin, I don't know what to do. They're too strong for me. What am I supposed to do? And she's you have a brother, go find your brother. And I think at the end of this season, or the end of those episodes, I'm kind of hoping Savage, this character that I have a lot of sympathy for, maybe, although, okay, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't clocking it that's Darth Maul. I was just okay, that's another Dathomirian Zabrak with red and black.
That's crazy.
It's not, I mean, I don't know.
No, I think that's really fair.
I was just okay, it's a brother. They're the same fucking species, obviously. We'd never seen Darth Maul cartoonized before. Anyways, so we see him, I'm oh, he has a brother, maybe this is going to turn out. No, immediately becomes a slave warrior again.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad because, I mean, not going to spoil too much, but he doesn't have the same chance that Ventress has to right his path, I guess.
Yeah.
And find himself.
I think it's fair. Yeah, there really is a lot of tragedy in his story. And we'll get to that more because it's all, I think his entire story is in the Clone Wars. So.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember seeing that Maul hologram and nearly passing away. I started yelling, running around my house, screaming, "He's alive! He's alive!" My dad was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "Darth Maul is alive," and he was like, "No, he's not."
Dad, you don't get it.
And I was like, "He is," and he goes, "No, he's not."
Yeah. Well, we'll find out more about that in future episodes, along with what kind of legs is Darth Maul going to have, because he was chopped in half. We'll get into all of that in some future episodes. Any last things we want to talk about from this episode before we wrap up? I know there's some quotes. There's one quote that I wonder if Erin's going to say. Go ahead.
I don't know. Actually, I don't have any crazy last minute thoughts. Go ahead, Alex.
I have one last minute thought that we didn't really talk about. Like, there is some scenes that would go on with like the Jedi kind of learning about, you know, what's going down a little bit. I don't know. I find it interesting, like Obi-Wan's reaction to. Am I wrong? Am I mixing things up?
No, just what do you mean? Obi-Wan's
Just
reaction to what?
Like basically being like, you know, like,
to Maul?
Yoda shows him this, and then he's like, Darth Maul can't be alive. I killed him, right?
No, literally, I'm like, that's not fucking him, you dumb bitch.
Like Obi-Wan's like, there's no way. I killed him. And he was like, yeah, bro, we know you killed him. Chill. Even though, like, obviously he is actually alive. But
yeah,
he's like,
honestly,
this is another one. And Obi-Wan's like, oh my God, not again, bro. And it's
I had this moment of kind of like, you know how like sometimes like you'll recognize someone's racism because like they'll think all black people look the same or all like, you know, Asian people look the same or whatever. And like Obi-Wan like thinks all Zabroks look the same. And I was like, really, dude? Come on.
He's like,
Yikes.
Darth Maul alive? Impossible. I'm like, bro.
I killed him myself.
Bro, first of all, they don't even look the same.
No.
But like, I mean, it just to me was very funny, like that reaction. And then the other quick thought I wanted to bring up was just when Dooku was training Savage, like basically training him through pain and through like being like, you know, mercy is not the way of the Sith, and just force lightning to make him basically more angry and more in pain to activate more of Savage Opress's power. It was just really interesting to see like how freaking twisted and evil Dooku really was and could be, and how the Sith trained each other, because we don't get very many scenes to actually seeing Sith training other Sith, and that was a small glimpse into how different, you know, we see like Qui-Gon teaching Obi-Wan or Obi-Wan teaching Anakin or whatever. Dooku teaching Savage was just sick and made it even sadder to watch Savage's story unfold.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting what you said, because the moment that we see Savage's like power peak when he can finally use the Force and lift these giant pillars, it's right after he screams, "I hate you."
Yeah,
and it's like that's literally the dark side.
Dooku's basically like, good.
Yeah, Dooku's like, good bitch, fry, hate me more, bitch.
and like we talked about it for just a second, but like he goes to a planet and kidnaps and kills the head of the king of the planet of Toydarians.
And we never hear about it again.
Well, not only that, but like, yes, he was supposed to bring back the guy alive, and he kind of got lost in his rage, whatever, and killed him. But like, that's still a pretty fucking big accomplishment to get in and I mean, granted, guys get pretty shitty security, but still, we assume there's a lot more security we didn't see. And Dooku is just well, you screwed up. You're pathetic, you know.
Yeah.
So.
He calls him like a mindless animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, I mean, it is straight abuse, and like for you know, for a lot of Dooku's story, I've always considered him to be like kind of a more not understandable, but like somebody can be a little more empathized with him because he was such a political idealist and like quote unquote not like got into the dark side for the right reasons. That sounds bad, but you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, he went against the Jedi for seemingly, you know, morally sound reasons, but did it completely the wrong way. And just to see how far, like, you know, Qui-Gon and even the Jedi in episode 1 are like, Dooku could never, or episode 2, Dooku could never, you know, initiate an assassination plot. He could never do this. Like, Mace Windu was like, he was a Jedi. It's not his character. Like, none of them are worried about that. Then we see him fucking torturing this guy. Like Dooku is sick and twisted. You forget that sometimes. This reminded you how really evil he is.
Yeah,
and how far he fell, because we see in Tales of the Jedi how different he trains Qui-Gon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he
sure.
had the ability to train an apprentice with compassion and with success.
Well, Qui-Gon trained him.
Well, and again,
walked.
we've in Tales of the Sith, this was changed somewhat, and I don't love it, but in Darth Plagueis, Darth Plagueis, the novel,
Padme.
another one of my favorites. Part of why Dooku turns to the dark side is because he is so upset that the Republic keeps using the Jedi for these missions that put Jedi in danger, and he is so upset about the death of his former Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn. So yeah, no, all there. All right. Well, any other last things from you two, and then I will end with my favorite quote.
No, I'm good.
No, go ahead.
So Mother Talzin is talking to Asajj Ventress, and they're talking about, well, maybe instead of training Nightsisters, we should try to go to the other side of Dathomir and get one of the males. And Asajj says, men are easy to acquire, hard to control.
Stay classy, Dathomir.
Impossible? The task is only impossible because you've deemed it as such.